Welcome back to Jess Checks Out, and you can see my house in a whole new position. So, I didn't feel like moving the furniture for the recording. My husband is at work, and I wanted to do a different kind of fun tag today. So I chose a Goodreads tag. The April wrap-up will happen at some point, but it's 40 minutes long. There's a lot to take into it because I read a lot of books in April, and it's May 31st, so maybe put something out in May too. Alright, so I chose the Goodreads tag because I found it on thbooks.wordpress.com, and I will link that information below. And I did that in part so that way it would be something fun and different, because I'm half in Goodreads, half out Goodreads, because I really enjoy Storygraph. I think that for what I read and what I want, it does a little bit better, but who knows. And if you look behind me, you can see our balcony door because I thought it'd be brighter. It's a bright, pretty day. Why not? Okay, so the first question is, what was the last book you rated? And that was actually when I did last night, and that was The Worst Best Man by Lucy Score. And it's a romance. I was just reading it because I was like, it was in a free Beach Reads box set, and I was like, cool. I have never read this author. This sounds like fun. In the May wrap-up, you'll find what I really thought about it. But it was nice to be able to read a book, because I've been kind of like trying to end the month on like 15 books or so. Obviously, this is May 2021. Okay, so that's the last book I read. What am I currently reading? 2 books. I am currently reading When We Believed in Mermaids by Barbara O'Neill, and I'm also halfway done with The Henna Wars. And I'm really interested in it, and I really like it when I can read something about another culture on top of another culture, because I'm American, and this is set in Ireland, and it has a Bengali lead, and her love interest is Afro-Brazilian Irish. So it's very interesting. I'm very interested in these books. They're very different. So I picked up The Mermaids because I needed something to listen to while I walk to the doctor, because I've been going to a lot of doctor's visits, and I don't have a license here in Germany, so I have to walk. And when I walk, I need to listen to something. So I picked that one up this morning on Amazon because, you know, bless Kindle Unlimited, and they're beautiful, beautiful, you know, audiobook selection. So good deal there. So then the next question is what was the last book you added to your TBR? And honestly, I don't use a TBR pile for Goodreads for the most part. I just kind of like randomly select things when I want to, because I'm a mood reader, which is exactly why one of the other questions is like, what are you going to read next? I don't know. There's a good chance it'll be one of the Wicked Lovely books, or, you know, another one of my other TBR for June, but I don't really know, because I learned after my May TBR of Doom of not selecting books, too much of them, and just kind of like letting my mood kind of set where I want to read, because I'm never going to read them all. Even though I had 6 books picked out, and that's nothing for me on a scale, I'm just a mood reader, so it's kind of hard to predict my moods. So, those are those 2 questions. One of the other questions is do you use the star system? Yes, I do use the star system, both for Goodreads and for Storygraph. I like Storygraphs better. Let's be very clear. I think the Storygraph has a much better system. They have like half stars, like 3/4, you know, 1/4, whatever. I think that's actually a better representation than just rounding to whole numbers, because if you read the reviews on Goodreads, oftentimes you're like, well, do I round up? Do I round down? What do I do? Who knows? So I like it. So I definitely prefer Storygraph's rating system, but I think I can probably handle it pretty well. I usually prefer to round to, like, you know, the half at least star, because I think that sometimes books are halfway between for me, and that's how I kind of review. And I use Bookro's CAWPILE system, and I will link that in the description below as well. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. Okay, Next question. Are you joining the reading challenge? Yes. I'm above what I put on there because I put 40 in order to keep my numbers low so I didn't overpressure myself, and I'm well above that now. I think I'm at like, according to my like CAWPILE, I'm somewhere around like 90 books, but I specifically keep my numbers low so I don't upset myself or so I don't like overextend what I think I should be doing, which is what happens sometimes. That's life. And do I have a wish list? Well, yes, I actually do have a wish list on Goodreads, but I don't often use it. But I do have one. I mean, like, mostly my wish lists are like Amazon, Busha.de. I'm thinking about Book Depository, but I'm not entirely sure how it works yet, so we'll see about that one. But needless to say, I'm working on something. So yes, I have one. I usually put the books that I want to read for like 2021, 2020, so forth, so forth. So I can find them, or, you know, if there's a giveaway or whatnot, I can work with that. Very simple stuff. The next question is what book do you plan on buying next? I don't know. I honestly don't have any idea. Like, I usually go to Media Mops and just pick whatever I want. You know, because if I'm going to buy a physical book, it's that way. Or sometimes I'll get like the really good deals on Amazon because $1.99 for some books are great. You know, I usually do like $1.99, 99 cents on Kindle because I read a lot on my phone or my tablet, even though my tablet's not nearly as good as my phone, honestly, for that. So it's whatever I want to buy. I don't really have any specific plans. I do know that a Somniatic reader on Goodreads bought me Thorn. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to read that sometime soon. I'm just not sure when exactly. The next one is about, like, do you have a quote you enjoy? And I love a lot of different quotes, but I don't really have one on Goodreads because I haven't figured out how that works. But there is a scene in Much Ado About Nothing by Shakespeare that I love because I'm a huge fan of the Benedict Beatrice kind of, not enemies to lover, not even hate to lover, but more like antagonistic to lover. So, but one thing I really enjoy is there's a scene where she's talking about how Claudio has completely obliterated Hero's reputation and life, and so she's talking about, like, you know, if she were a man, what she would do, and I love that. I think that's amazing. That's a great line. So I'm going to read it to you now. The best part of those lines. I also like, I will say this before I do this, there's also a scene where she's talking to Don Pedro, and she's talking about when she was born, how, you know, it was kind of like a weird kind of night and all kinds of stuff, and, you know, she was born under a sad sky, and her mother laughed, and that, I love that one as well. But this one's my favorite because I can feel it. See, I got this written down. It's, oh God, that I were a man, I would eat his heart in the marketplace. Damn. You gotta love a good Beatrice line. It's one of my favorite quotes. I've been using it for years. If I were able to do that as a like woman, that would be amazing. As you can hear Penny grunting. And then it says, who are your favorite authors? And honestly, I have got so many authors I read. I talk about this a lot, but I love Anne Bishop. I really enjoyed the Kel Carpenter Dark Magi series, which I have a video coming out about that at some point. I like Terry Pratchett. I really enjoy his work. I enjoy his kind of like irreverence and smartness and stuff like that. Who else? I read a lot. I really enjoy Tessa Dare in the romance department. I really enjoy her kind of like rom-com-y kind of world. I know that Aiden Thomas is now an auto-buy for me after reading Cemetery Boys. Again, I read a lot, so it's kind of hard for me to like narrow down who or what depending on genre, especially since I'm just starting to like read mysteries and stuff like that. If you want a good cozy mystery, I highly recommend Cleo Coyle. It's a husband and wife writing duo. It's set in the Village in New York City in a coffee house. Perfect. Are you part of any groups? I am, but I don't actually do anything in there because, again, I'm not sure how to handle. I'm not sure how I like to handle this, so we'll see about that. And if you see mold on the window, so sorry. Okay, last but not least, it is tag someone. And honestly, if you want to play. I don't really tag very well. Just enjoy yourself and join the party. All right, guys, that's it. We're good. I will talk to you next time, and one of the next video should be my June TBR. I gotta add some stuff to that one actually, so we'll see about that. Bye, guys.